Hey, I'm Mike.
Hey, I'm Chris.
And this is Mike and Chris Reloaded.
Season 3.
Season 3! We've been renewed again.
Yes. We were on the bubble, but we made it.
Who keeps making this horrible decision and renewing our show?
I have no idea. Somebody's an idiot. But hey, as long as we're getting... Wait, never mind.
I don't even care if people listen. I'm still going to put this out. But this week we're going to be talking about the Spider-Man Homecoming review and give you a top 5 of...
Or what I like to say, all things Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man villains. And Chris is really excited. This is his favorite superhero.
This is my boy. Spidey's my boy.
Yep, he's a Spider-Man lover.
Me and Parker are dogs.
Did you see the Spider-Man comic with about College Humor one where he was having sex and with a girl and then he looked at the girl and he said, "Don't worry if it bites you."
No, I missed
just
that one.
Throw some Raid on it. But it was terrible. It was a terrible joke, but it was college humor. What do you expect?
Yeah, that's true.
But we're going to do top 5 Spider-Man villains after we do the review. Now, this is a weakness for me because I don't read comic books. So
you don't read, period.
I don't read, period. But I did listen to some YouTube videos, so I do have a basic knowledge of what happens.
And plus what you've seen in the past films and with cartoons and everything.
That's what I say. Mine's going to be based on cartoons and movies that I've seen. So.
Me specifically, I base mine strictly on comic books because I'm
a nerd.
Comic book nerd.
You are. Maybe Kevin Smith will let you be on a show, Comic Book Men.
Hey, I'd go there. That'd be pretty cool.
I'd go there. I'd pretend I read comics just to go on that show. I'm like, yeah, I read. I read the dictionary once.
Thesaurus. That was crazy. Well, we got a big show going, so let's just jump right into it. Let's with the Homecoming. Came out just past Friday. Director John Watts.
And we had a crew going to that movie.
Yeah, we had quite a big crew.
Yeah, we had a whole row.
Excuse me. Tom Holland, Michael Keaton, Robert Downey Jr., Marissa Tomei. Pretty big cast, actually.
Yeah, we forgot to introduce our guests. We got Dane and Trent with us, too.
Oh yeah, to kick off our season 3.
That's right. We got Dane and Trent.
Yeah, I was being quiet for people.
They're here all the time. They just,
You forget.
I forget. So.
Yeah, but...
you aren't interns?
I was a little... I wasn't sure about Tom Holland and Spider-Man when they announced Tom Holland was going to play Spider-Man.
Is it because he's young?
No. I know Spider-Man's supposed to be a high school kid.
Well, he's got a couple acting credits to his
name.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Actually, a great couple of bunches.
I'm with you. You know, every time you're casting a iconic role anywhere, you're wondering, oh my God, what's it going to be like?
Yeah.
You got this relatively kind of semi-unknown person, but it's been only a couple films. You know, it's not like how they just cast Tom Hardy as Venom. Everybody knows who Tom Hardy is and what he can do. But it's just like, okay, but I'll tell you what, I think he knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
I totally think he owned it. Especially the Ultimate Spider-Man version.
Peter Parker and Spider-Man, both personas. I enjoyed every minute of it. It was just
It's like, I didn't hate him as Peter Parker whatsoever. I actually felt for him. Like, I almost had flashbacks of high school, even though I didn't get picked on.
Well, the thing about Peter Parker is he's a nerd. He's a science nerd. That's how he is. That's what he is. That's Peter Parker.
Right, and they had him making his own web
which he does.
Yeah,
he's
that
smart.
He's that smart. He's actually in the comic book field. He's a genius level.
Yeah, like in the movie, like when they were answering questions, he's like, "Oh, you don't really have to do this, Peter. We already know you know." Just like, yeah. It's. I mean, I love the fact that they went and foregoed all the whole origin stuff and fast forwarded a little bit, got rid of all that. Everybody knows the story. We don't want to. It's been done twice already. We don't want to do it anymore. We're done. Let's just skip past that. We know it. And I love the fact that it didn't fast forward at all. It stayed with him. It was what the whole movie was a span of maybe a month.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's So he's a 15-year-old kid learning about these abilities and learning about life. He wants to be a superhero and this and that, but he realizes not all things are black and white. You know what I mean?
Which has also been a staple of Peter Parker's story, which has gripped everybody since I first came across Spider-Man. It's just he has everyday weaknesses and stuff, just like normal people. He has to get day to day, but he's also in high school, and he has to keep his identity somewhat secret. Well, not somewhat, but very secret to protect the ones he loves and every little thing like that. Thank God he have to go through puberty.
My favorite part about the movie was that it wasn't a romance flick.
Yeah,
I mean, there was some drama.
Yeah, there was romantic elements in it,
but it wasn't as heavy as some of the previous Spider-Man movies. They even make a joke about it where he's upside down and it's like it's a perfect time for his suit says it's a perfect Karen. Is that what his suit name? Karen says it's perfect time for a kiss.
To kiss her. Also a reference to Sam Raimi's
Spider-Man. The Tobey Maguire kiss upside down in the rain.
But yeah, you're right. It had romantic themes and elements in it too, but it's basically a lot of good character development. It sets it up for more stuff down the road, and with Peter Parker with Spider-Man, like I said, he has to maintain this persona of everyday life as well as this persona of trying to be a hero. So it's like, what do? I got this class I gotta finish, but yet someone's robbing a bank. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he kept saying I got the internship, the Stark internship.
It's basically, it's a struggle for kids even nowadays. It's the everyday choices they got to make. Whether you're a superhero or not, it's just everyday choices he has to make, and his are just on a grander scheme because of his abilities and his powers.
Right.
So, which I thought was really, really drawn out well.
And I think they did a good job, like Dane posted today on Facebook, of bringing in the multi-villain curse. Because that's what I thought about Spider-Man has the problem has been way too many villains try to be crammed into one film.
Spider-Man 2 trying to set up way too much stuff at one time. Like every scene they were just trying to set up this villain, like Sinister.
Yeah, this one it touched at other villains like Scorpion, Shocker. Who else was in there? Tinkerer.
One that makes the weapons.
Yeah.
Which if you look at like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 1 and 2, you had Green Goblin, you had Dr. Octopus.
Yeah.
And that was it. And look how immensely popular those two movies were.
And also it really fleshed out those two characters.
I didn't like them.
So
I know Spider-Man 2 is your like all-time favorite Spider-Man.
It is. Movie. Homecoming is up there for me now. It's still not Spider-Man 2 for me though.
Yeah, see,
I agree there.
Homecoming's my Spider-Man 2. I think.
Really?
Yeah, because I just love it. I mean, they showed us the villains. You got a high school kid, which check. That's what Spider-Man is supposed to be. Showed us the villains, but didn't cram the villains down our throat. Check.
Yeah.
Had Michael Keaton as the Vulture. He did an amazing job.
Oh yeah,
as
he was
villain.
memorable. Yeah, too.
Michael Keaton's always going to be memorable.
Yeah, I mean, perfect role. It's set up for a sequel. Check. Even set up for a sequel with the Vulture with Michael Keaton at the end. If you watch past the credits, I mean, there's even I don't know of a hint of him being a good guy, but I know I don't think his revenge plot isn't completed yet. I think.
Well, see, that's the thing. Is he out for revenge, or does he do it just out of respect for Peter because Peter's a hard-working, just like him, life. And he did save his life.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's kind of one of those guys. Like, look, you saved my life, you saved my daughter's life, whatever. I'll cut you a break this once.
Yeah, he is. I mean,
he's like one of those
because he set that up in the movie.
Yeah, favor for a favor type, whatever.
Yeah, you saved my daughter's life, so I won't kill you now, type thing.
Yeah,
I got you. It could be. I don't think he's done. I think Vulture might be in another flick. Maybe when Sony gets it back.
Well, they're still talking about the Sinister Six, so
yeah.
And the Vulture was
which is also what I
think
the after credits things was trying to hint at. Though I have friends outside that want to get a piece of Spider, so could be some people we didn't realize, or friends of theirs, or just friends of his, because Matt Gargan, aka Scorpion, he's has ties with a lot of people in the criminal world, really.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on which version you go of Matt Gargan.
Yeah, what do we do normally? A 10 scale in the movie?
I think we do, yeah.
Yeah, I would give this a 9 out of 10.
I would give it, I'd definitely give it at least a solid 9 out of 10, yeah.
I agree. I say a 9.
Yeah, it's unanimous. Definitely a 9.
Yeah,
definitely blew my expectations.
I recommend going and watching it if you have not seen it. It is.
Yeah, we didn't spoil the shit out of it for you either, so.
No, we did not.
We kept it clean.
Started this past Friday, July 7th, and it is raking in at the box office.
Yeah, what was it, 113 million?
I think 117, which is still right.
117 domestically, and I heard 140 million roughly overseas.
Yeah, it's killing overseas, which is also shocking for Spider-Man.
At a budget of 175 million for the movie.
I didn't even think about the budget.
So it doesn't make its money back, and it's going to make it.
Oh yeah, it was opening weekend.
Biggest opening for a solo MCU movie. I believe it beat Iron Man and I think Winter Soldier.
Well, it's the second biggest opening for Sony, but I got into a debate with Dane. This really isn't a Sony movie. So.
No, this is an official MCU movie.
Yeah,
because it's part of their phases. So.
But he posted that it was a Sony movie. Well, they're taking credit for it.
They still have the rights, so they can flash it.
They do have the rights, so they're flashing it.
Like even the end,
Sony should just sit back and say, "Dude, here, take it. We'll just collect money off of it."
Yeah, collect the royalties.
Yeah, we're good. You know, we can't make anything that good. We're all right.
Yeah. So let's jump into our top 5 Spider-Man villains list here. What do you think? Who do we want to start off with?
We'll start with Trent and work our way counterclockwise.
Sure, that works.
So you're number 5.
Yeah, number 5. I was thinking hard about this because Spider-Man, one of the reasons why I love him so much is he has so many great villains. But this is kind of recent, maybe a little too recent, but I like the Vulture. I think he was a good, solid number 5. He was a very early Spider-Man villain. I know he came out around back in the 60s when Spider-Man first debuted. But I liked his story in Spider-Man Homecoming. I think it was a nice personal story. And I loved it. He was kind of like a scavenger. He stole the parts and he made, I thought the costume was awesome. The whole idea of it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And Michael Keaton was just phenomenal.
And they kept that little signature fluff around his neck. I also like that.
I like that too.
It's a bomber jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was phenomenal. I mean, the Vulture's a good
I'll tell you what,
like
there ain't much I have seen Michael Keaton in that he hasn't been good in.
Yeah, that was true.
I mean,
Multiplicity.
Even when he was,
that was hilarious movie.
Was it Jack Frost?
Yeah, Jack Frost.
Everyone has their Jack Frost, man. Sorry.
True. All right, number 5 to you, Chris.
My number 5, and again, mine are going to be based off the comic book. So his first appearance, and all these ones I'm listing, again, is all these people first appeared in Amazing Spider-Man, which is the longest running Spider-Man comic book out there. First appearance, Amazing Spider-Man number 3, Dr. Otto Octavius, Doc Ock. He was a brilliant physicist. He, dealt with, working with nuclear, stuff like that. He was caught in an explosion by chance. He had these mechanical arms that he developed, just like the movie, basically. Yeah. He had his mechanical arms. That's why I love the movie Spider-Man 2 so much, because it was just, that's how it happened. He had these mechanical arms he developed to help him with this fusion reactor thing. There was an explosion. It fused it to his body. He couldn't take it off, so it basically fused it to his nervous system. So,
ouch.
Yeah, and the arms are they're superhumanly strong, and they're resistant to radioactivity. So, I mean, he can get, grab things and not have to worry about it, whatever.
And it's all mental.
But the only problem was when it fused it to his nervous system, it drove him a little bit slightly insane. So he kind of went on a little, binge streak to where he just went crazy. Most of the people you see in villainy come from tragicness, tragedy. So you'll see that a lot of themes and a lot of stuff. So, but that's my number 5.
That's a good number 5.
That was a good one. I know who Doc Ock is.
Because of the movie or the cartoons?
Because of the movie? No,
Actually, he was also in the Fox series.
Yeah,
But,
I was gonna say I remember him from the cartoons too.
Yeah, my number 5 goes to Norman Osborn's Green Goblin.
Green Goblin.
Every version of Green Goblin, Ultimate version being my favorite.
Which he was actually a
Goblin.
Yeah.
He was just known as the Goblin. Though.
Yeah,
the Goblin.
But he was a Green Goblin.
Yeah.
Who was Hulk-like.
Yeah.
But, he was introduced in Amazing Spider-Man 14. And at first, no one had any indication he had an alternate identity or anything like that. He just thought he was like this mythical creature that just came out of nowhere. Just started, going ballistic. But for those that don't know his origins, he was testing out a super soldier serum on himself, and it gave him like the abilities, but it also drove him a little bit crazy, which the other persona would come out and split personality. And yeah, if you didn't know that about Green Goblin, Mike, then
Nope, didn't know.
Really? You didn't?
No, didn't know.
What about Sam Raimi's?
Yeah, Willem Dafoe, he went crazy.
Yeah.
In the mirror, you'd see the other side of himself.
Yeah, I remember, but I didn't know his original.
Although the original Goblin had a broom he rode around, and then he eventually got the glider. But
Man, I know the origin story from the movie, but I didn't know the comic.
It was pretty
origin
close.
story. My number 5, is gonna shock y'all, is Jonah Jameson.
That's a good one.
Yeah, nobody in the Spider-Man universe tortures Peter Parker and Spider-Man as much as Jonah Jameson does.
And he actually is the reason Scorpion came to be.
They pay him to actually fight Spider-Man.
So, he's not a typical villain, but, he runs an anti-Spider-Man newspaper, the Daily Bugle.
Anti-Spider-Man everything.
He gives Peter Parker a hard time all the time, forcing him to do... take photos when he's not, doesn't have time. He puts him on time strains all the time. So I did, however, listen into some of Jonah's stories, and do find out he did become mayor, and then he did become pro Spider-Man after he became mayor. So I did learn something.
Yeah,
it took years.
Jonah Jameson, he was like anti-Spider-Man in the comic books and stuff like that, and everything. But, even though he was that way, he was always a businessman up front, though. He knew what papers, he knew what it sold, and that's what he had to do. He had to run the Bugle. Of course, that's what sold Spider-Man,
Yep.
So.
Yeah, and he took the negative aspect, though. So. Bastard.
Why does he wear a mask? He's a menace.
So number 4 to Trent.
I'm going to have to go with Chris's number 5, Doc Ock. And main reason why is because Spider-Man 2 is still my favorite Spider-Man movie, and I love the.
Are you two related?
And I love the portrayal of Doc Ock in the movie, and just how also the train scene was just the train scene. It's all I kind of.
That is still one of the most epic Spider-Man fights filmed ever. Don't get me wrong, Homecoming had its great moments too.
It did. Him and the Vulture went pretty crazy. But, I still think the train scene's probably still one of my favorite superhero moments.
When he jumps through the bridge?
Oh,
he's
pushing them off, he's swinging through.
Huh?
Did you guys play Spider-Man 2 the game?
Oh, yeah. It was actually a great licensed video game, too.
Yeah, it was pretty good. The train battle at the end was hard as hell.
Yeah.
Hard. I remember me and the wife were playing it, so it was pretty good. On number 4 to you, Chris.
Number 4, first appearance in Amazing Spider-Man number 6. A little guy named Dr. Kirk Connors, otherwise known as the Lizard. Again, brilliant scientist, geneticist. He's missing an arm. He tinkers with reptile genes and stuff to try and manifest how they regrow their limbs. And ends up injecting himself with the serum to try and grow his arm back, and he ends up growing into a big lizard.
Got his arm back though, but only when he's the lizard.
But only when he's the lizard. He's one of those guys that he's again tragic. Something happened tragic, or it's not what he meant to be. He's a really good doctor, really good geneticist and everything else, and a good guy at heart. But circumstances as the lizard. He tends to go a little animalistic and crazy, whatever.
It's a Jekyll and Hyde thing.
Yeah, I guess you can call it that. I mean, he has superhuman reflexes and strength and everything else that makes him even more deadly. But he did. I thought they portrayed him really good in the movie Amazing Spider-Man. I thought it was really good.
And he got a great actor.
Oh yeah, really good actor. But even at the end of the movie, where he was, when he kind of turned back into himself, he saved Peter's life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So he's not a bad guy, but he is,
he's
bad
a bad
circumstances.
guy.
So that's my number 4.
Number 4 to you, Dane.
Well, Trent had my number 4.
Oh.
And Chris is number 5, Doc Ock.
Doc Ock. It's funny. You
As
guys
a
both
job.
picked Doc Ock as number 4.
Anything to add to him?
I think everything's been said, because somehow if we were going to talk about him again with another villain reference.
Well,
somehow.
My number 4 is Rhino.
I'm the Rhino.
Yeah, I loved Rhino. He's basically just a common street criminal who agrees to have from what I understand is what I heard is he agrees to have a rhino costume surgically implanted into himself that gives him super strength and super speed and extra durability.
There's several different versions of the Rhino.
Yeah.
The ultimate version is just this little tiny guy in a big robotic suit.
Yeah.
The original Rhino is actually, he was bombarded by gamma rays and stuff like that, and he's actually like 700 pounds. It's like a big dude. He wears the Rhino suit for durability and stuff and charging.
Okay.
So, but he does have, inhuman strength and speed.
Not the smartest, though.
But, yeah, why I picked him is because I think he could be one of the most destructive villains, because he pretty much smashes through everything. I know
Maybe we
wasn't
can
he
actually
in?
get a version of him in one of the Spider-Mans coming.
He's in Spider-Man. What game was he in?
He's been in a couple of the games. He was in Ultimate Spider-Man. He was in
I think
Spider-Man.
it was Ultimate Spider-Man is right.
2 or 3.
Ultimate Spider-Man was where he was the little guy inside the suit.
Yeah, and Ultimate Spider-Man to save the people, because he was like running through all the workers and was like power lines falling down.
He was running through buildings too.
Yeah, that too.
Because Peter's like following the trail.
I'm trying, guys, but I'm not a comic book reader. I'm trying.
I'm not strong at this, but I'm doing my best.
The Force is not strong with me when it comes to comics.
But I do like Rhino. I can't say I don't.
Yeah.
So that would be
number 3 to Trent.
Number 3, I'm to go with Dane's number 5, Norman Osborn.
Saying we better not have the same number 3.
Yeah, I got Green Goblin with this one, and I guess talking a little bit about William Dafoe. I really loved his performance as Green Goblin.
I love William Dafoe.
He is just. I was reading some interviews, and he really wanted that role bad. He actually, Sam Raimi, I think, turned him down at first, but then he showed him, like, I really love this character. I just wanted the role, and he eventually gave it to him through everything. It's not like he had anything to prove. I mean, he's already great before that, but he's just a huge fan of the Green Goblin, so I thought that was really cool. And it's proved Sam Raimi is just a really cool guy, too.
Yeah.
Always giving guys.
Yeah, I know him personally. No, I don't.
Call me Sam.
I don't freaking know anybody. Number 3 to Chris.
Number 3. Guess what?
What?
Norman Osborn.
Norman Osborn.
Green Goblin. First appeared in Amazing Spider-Man number
Green Goblin 14. What?
14. However, I'm going to expand a little bit on this from you. He did take the super soldier serum, drove him crazy. However, he was caught in an explosion and mixed with other chemicals that caused it to have an adverse reaction. And when he woke up, he was actually in the hospital for like 4 weeks in a coma. When he woke up, that's when he started going insane. The Green Goblin, by all rights, should be rated higher.
Yeah.
For the simple fact that he was the cause of one of the single most tragic events in Spider-Man's history.
I would definitely agree with this.
He was the one that caused Gwen Stacy to die. But it was by Peter Parker's hands.
Which makes it worse.
Which makes it even worse.
That's sad.
So, yeah, that was... and that was just like in the Amazing Spider-Man 2. That's almost how it happened. He dropped her, threw her down, he webbed her, but the shock of the webbing to stop her, it's such a sudden drop, caused her neck to snap.
Yeah.
So
in the comics, he
threw her off a bridge.
Yeah. So the scene in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man was
where he's holding her over the bridge.
Mary Jane.
Mm-hmm.
He's holding her over the bridge. That's the scene basically with Gwen Stacy.
Oh, that's cool.
So
not really. People dying ain't cool, but
well,
it's cool for comic books.
But yeah, that's by all rights, he's responsible for one of the single most tragic events that ever happened to Peter Parker.
And he's like always been a constant. He's like the Joker to him if he was Batman.
Yeah, I would say
that too, because he's just insane.
I mean, because he's just never stopped, and of course we left out that his son also become the Goblin and another guy, but mainly he's been the Goblin. Although also tragically his son would die in the comic books, which also drove him insane because of drug overdose. But Marvel, we're super dark.
Yeah.
Just like you, DC.
Yeah, because in the comic books, Norman Osborn ended up getting better. And then Harry Osborn became the Green Goblin.
Right.
But then he went to a rehab, got better, but then he died.
I knew that Harry Osborn became the Green Goblin because I saw it in
the movies. He was killed in an explosion.
James Franco.
Yeah, I saw James Franco become.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Although they also thought Green Goblin died, which they did pay homage to it in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, but they just
homage.
So number 3 to you, Dane.
My number 3 is always been a favorite of mine, like every version, Mysterio, also known as Quentin Beck, who was
many others.
He doesn't probably know who Mysterio is. He has the dome over his head.
I know.
Okay.
But more people played Mysterio than Quentin Beck. I do know that because I did just listen to that the other night.
Oh, fancy man.
Because he's also my number 3.
Oh, that's interesting. Creepy. But yeah, Quentin Beck, he was a special effects artist and everything. Like, didn't want to be a director per se, but also wasn't attractive enough to be an actor. And came up with this idea of, using what he knows and becoming this hero, and framed Spider-Man by making a suit and doing all his stunt things, and made Spider-Man look like he robbed a couple banks, which also made Spider-Man question himself that, do I have another personality? But eventually he figured him out and took him to justice, and just his methods have always got me. Like, he uses visual hypnotism. It's just all around everything.
Yeah, a lot of illusion, hypnotism, and stuff like that.
So if they ever brought him to the big screen, which I really hope, I can see so much going down.
Yeah, he's from the origin story that I listened to, he was a Hollywood stuntman, is what he was, and a part-time magician, and he uses his magician and his hypnotism to go on a rampage, but he also creates a second persona, Dr. Ludwig something or another. Ludwig, what is it? I got written down. Ludwig Reinhardt, where he's a psychiatrist. So when he escapes from jail or escapes from the crazy bin or whatever, he's convinced everybody that he's a psychiatrist, Dr. Ludwig Reinhardt, and he lives in that persona currently in the comic book. From what I'm understanding, I'm probably wrong.
So who's your number 3, Mike?
Oh no, that's what I said. I already said my number 3 was Mysterio too. So yeah. So number 2 to Trent.
Number 2, I have to go with probably Electro.
Electro?
Yeah. I really liked Jamie Foxx's portrayal. Some people are kind of mixed about it. I think if you're looking at the ultimate perspective, there's a little more like it. How he's kind of like he was electricity all around.
I like the ultimate versions of all the villains, really.
Yeah, they are pretty great, but
except Carnage. That's the only one I don't like. Ultimate Carnage, but continue. So.
Yeah, the movie wasn't really great, but I think one of the things that did right was Electro's appearance and the way he kind of acted in the movie. And Jamie Foxx was pretty good at portraying Electro, even the movie was not that great, but
yeah, I didn't like it.
Yeah, I feel they cut a lot of.
Yeah, that, and they tried to force so much, and it just wasn't enough time to really there wasn't really a main focus of the movie. There's just a lot of jumping around.
Oh, too much jumping around.
Yeah. But Electro, I think he did have a solid part in the movie. Oops.
That's a good one.
That is a good one. Number 2 to you, Chris?
My number 2.
Go on, say it.
First appearance, Amazing Spider-Man, again, $2.99. Eddie Brock, Venom. And Amazing Spider-Man 252 was the first appearance of the black costume. First appearance was Secret Wars number 8.
Yeah.
So that's when Spider-Man, their Beyonder had taken them, put them all on a battle planet, made a planet together, took heroes and villains, put them all there and had them fight. Spider-Man's costume got tore up where they had this machine that made things for him, and this little black ball come out. All of a sudden, the costume jumped on Spider-Man. Lo and behold, the black costume is born. He did not realize till later on that the costume was a symbiote and was alive.
Parasite.
Yes.
So when he realized this, he's Spidey's. He was doing things. He was real fatigued, tired, everything else. And the costume was basically taking him over at night and going out and doing things while he was sleeping.
Mm.
So he realized that. He went and saw Reed Richards from the Fantastic Four. And Reed Richards tested it, said, "Hey, this thing's alive." And he freaked out. He's like, "Get it off of me." Well, Reed Richards, of course, is like the smartest man in the Marvel Universe.
One of.
Yeah. But he realized that the costume reacted to sound. So he created like a sonic blaster, blasted it, encased it, put it in there, sealed up. So Spider-Man is free of the costume, no problem. However, the costume escapes, finds Peter Parker again, gets on him. This time, Peter Parker's there, and he realizes the sound thing, so he's trying to struggle and fight against the costume. He gets into the bell tower.
Infamous.
And that's where the scene in Spider-Man 3.
Same in the movie.
Okay, the bell tower, the noise, the noise of it causes the costume to come off of him and drips down. And at the same time, Eddie Brock happens to be in the church right there.
How convenient.
Mm-hmm. Now, in the comic books, Eddie Brock was just like the movie. He was a journalist who actually Peter Parker proved as a fraud. He got fired, so he blamed Peter Parker. Blah blah blah. So they actually did follow a little bit of the comic book storyline. So Eddie Brock comes back, gets the costume. They realize, hey, I hate Peter Parker. Costume hates Peter Parker. We're perfect. Lo and behold, Venom is born.
Venom. Number 2 to you, Dane.
My number 2 is the offspring of Venom.
Which one?
Cletus first. Cletus Cassidy, who was a serial killer who happened to be locked up right next to Eddie after his infamous capture. But I don't remember infamous really. But anyway, the suit was actually breaking out, as some people know. You don't know this, Mike, probably.
Nope.
The Venom symbiote was breaking out Eddie Brock for they could be together again and be Venom. And in that time, because it's an asexual type of thing, it gave birth to a number symbiote, which would be nameless until his rampage and fusion with Cletus Cassidy, who is probably one of the craziest villains in, I would say, Marvel history.
Yeah.
Just how much he loves killing and his childhood also.
And I agree with you. Where Venom was just basically he wasn't out to kill everybody or anything.
He was just
Parker. That's it.
Right.
Okay. So when Eddie Brock and everything came to terms with whatever his revenge or whatever, he then kind of became more of an anti-hero, where he was like, "Yeah, I'll help you out, but quit freaking bothering me." You know what I'm saying? Type thing. So then Venom and Carnage ended up becoming kind of clashing. So
right.
Venom was against the killing of innocents and everything like that, and actually had to team up with Spider-Man to take him down, which is another great storyline.
Maximum Carnage.
My number 2 is Venom. So me and Chris think a lot alike. It's pretty scary sometimes. I'm telling you.
Sometimes.
But basically everything's been said. He's just the reason I like him is because he's an anti-hero. He's a villain that you love and you gotta love, and sometimes he helps out and does nice things. Sometimes. So I mean, it's just I'm just attracted to anti-heroes in any universe or any like Deadpool's my favorite. Which we've gone through. So
well, even when Eddie Brock was still hunting down Peter Parker, Spider-Man, he didn't like. There was a scene where I think an issue of comic book where something was happening, a building or something was coming down, and the little old lady was there. He actually saved the little old lady. So I mean, he's not like completely utterly heartless. He just has a hatred for Peter Parker.
Right.
So and one other thing too. I don't know if you know this or not, but Peter Parker's spider sense does not work on Venom.
Huh. I did
It's
not know that.
because he was on Spider-Man. He absorbed.
Oh.
The symbiote. I'll get to that. Continue.
Anyways, so number 1 to you, Trent.
What are the honorable mentions?
You can name an honorable mention.
I don't have an honorable mention.
Honorable mention, I have to say, because it kind of ties in with number 1, Carnage. I think because
You know who's number 1 is.
We do know who's number 1 is.
But I just think it's fair to have Carnage and Venom because they're both similar, but obviously different in terms of what their end goal was for Peter Parker and just what they wanted to do. But yeah, I love Carnage because he really pushed not only Peter but just other people around him because, like I said, he was just insane. There's really no stopping him. In other ways, he's kind of
And he
powerful.
perfectly bonded with the symbiote and refers to himself as I instead of we.
Yeah, yeah. It's just like it was pretty awesome seeing some
Went into his blood
in a twisted way.
Well, that's cool. So your number 1 is Venom, then, right?
Go ahead and say Venom. Personally, I prefer the Ultimate storyline. How both him and Peter their fathers were friends, and they worked on the symbiote suit. They tried to use it to cure different diseases, and I think mainly it was cancer, where they're trying to cure with the suit, but ended up becoming alive. And Peter used it for his own gain at first, but then realized it was bad not to use it. He didn't want to use it anymore. Then Brock found out, and he used the suit. And then it kind of made it more personal because they were friends for a long time.
They grew up together.
I kind of like that story.
And their fathers worked together. So.
Yeah, it kind of added that personal depth to it. Same time, it was like he had to fight this monster Venom, but his friend, was in there. I like that kind of thing. That was a pretty good story.
Yeah, it is.
If I had to go with a honorable mention, I would go with Rhino. For the simple fact he's just this massive creature that Spider-Man has to try and take down. So
sweet. I thought I was going to be the only one to say anything about Rhino.
No, yeah, I mean that's Spider-Man has the agility. He does have strength, but not near the strength that the Rhino has. So
right.
He's got to use more of his wit and cunning and his agility to stop the Rhino than just pure strength.
Yeah.
So
I just love how destructive he is.
Yeah.
I mean that's my favorite. I'm terrible, I know, but he breaks all the shit. Everything he breaks.
My number 1, first appearance, Amazing Spider-Man, yet again, number 15. A little guy known as Alexei Kravinoff, Kraven the Hunter.
The ultimate hunter.
This guy is just he is a master hunter. He is a master hand-to-hand combat. He is a master tactician. I mean, he's just everything. He makes potions for himself off of herbs and stuff from the jungles, where he uses it. He stays young. He uses a potion to gain superhuman strength and agility. Even without the superhuman strength and agility, he still has just as much strength and agility as a Olympic athlete.
Cool.
He's just that good, yeah. and he's just that smart.
And they put him in a game too, didn't they?
They put him in
Shattered Dimensions, I know was one.
That was a fun.
There was a whole level, you had to chase him through the jungle. It was crazy.
But just to give you an idea of this guy, he is in the comic books, he's over 70 years old. But he has the physique of a 30-year-old guy.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, he just does that. He's uses these herbs to slow his aging process down and everything else.
Where I'm a 30-year-old guy with a physique of a 70-year-old guy. I have the
he wasn't that super. I mean, he was a pretty popular character, a fairly popular character who kept reoccurring but he wasn't. His claim to fame, his notoriety came in a comic book series called Kraven's Last Hunt, which is by far the absolute best series in, I would say, almost in any comic book out there.
Wow.
It was a 6-part series that ran through each Spider-Man, Web of Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man, and Amazing Spider-Man. There's 2 parts in each series. And basically, Kraven, he beat Peter Parker. He captured him. He buried him alive. He basically just crushed him all around until Parker finally Spider-Man, he finally worked his way out and got out and everything else and come back. And then it just, I mean, I'm not going to say anything what happened. It's a very good storyline. Even if you want to find it on YouTube and listen to it, Mike, I highly recommend it. It's
actually,
probably one of the absolute.
The series touched on it a lot.
It happened. It's one of the absolute best storylines ever in like almost any comic book out there.
Okay.
So it's that good.
I will definitely YouTube it. Probably not tonight, but I will YouTube it. So number 1 to you, Dane.
No shocker. Everyone knows my favorite guy is Venom. But I don't view Venom as just one person. I view the symbiote more than anything else.
Yeah, that is true.
Because originally, the symbiotes themselves are, of course, they are a parasitic race, but because of its first host, which killed its entire race and planet, is what kind of urged that evil, but the symbiote itself wants to do good. It wants to be a hero. And its other host, right before Spider-Man, actually was Deadpool, which is where he gets his kind of craziness from. Yeah, they actually threw that in later Origins as a flashback. But, yeah.
My number 1 is strictly due to the movie. Strictly 100%, I will say I bandwagon jumping, but I don't believe that a villain in a superhero movie has been played and done as well as Michael Keaton did with the Vulture. I think that is by far the most impressive villain story or performance I have seen
I'm not gonna lie.
in my movie career, and I'm a pretty big movie buff, so I mean, it was just by far best. Now I know he's another one of those character villains who had multiple personas, multiple people played the Vulture, from what I understand.
Mm-hmm.
So
Adrian Toomes was the original.
Yeah, say Adrian Toomes is the original, but then other people have played it. But I mean, it starts off with a story where he had a business or whatever, and he goes broke, belly up, and he steals alien technology
because of the government.
Because of the government, he just all he's really doing is stealing technology and bootlegging weapons to feed his family.
Well, then he becomes an arms dealer, Mike, which is illegal.
Yes,
little bit.
Details. But I mean, he's doing something just to support his family because the government screwed him over. So that's why he's my favorite villain.
It was good. He did a very, very good job. And real quick, Dane, to touch upon your Venom thing real quick, you talk about the symbiote. The reason why the symbiote was like the way it was, and I know you talk about it's a separate entity, the reason why it was that way against Peter Parker, because it was almost like a jilted lover.
Yeah.
That's how it was, because it felt that Parker rejected it, and so that's why it was just almost like a jilted lover. That's why.
And that's why anyone it attaches to, the most ones that have actually, Matt Gargan really didn't hate Spider-Man as much as, Eddie Brock, and eventually Flash Thompson, who also has had a symbiote, Agent Venom.
Yeah.
It's just the suit totally feeds off of, you hate Parker too, so I'm going to keep
okay.
You're into this more. You're going to have more, powers, strength, different things like that.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what we got for you for a show, but we do have a couple things we want to add. We've got our winners for our t-shirt giveaway.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to go over those. Dietrich Burns, I'll be contacting you via Facebook tomorrow to get your information and send you a shirt. We have Planet Janine, which you've already contacted.
Yeah, Shanna Gilmartin with her Facebook page, Planet Janine.
So, it's actually a pretty nice Facebook page. I don't know if you've ever seen her or not. She posts a lot of stuff from around the world and stuff like that.
I was on there today. And then Floor, I don't know how to pronounce this, Ozucina.
I'm not sure. Sorry if we mess this up.
Yeah, I'm terrible at pronouncing names, but we'll be contacting you tomorrow as well.
And you guys are the winner of our shirts, our shirt giveaway. It's our limited edition anniversary shirts. But we appreciate y'all for liking and sharing and listening to us. We appreciate you being here, Trent, Dane, for our third season kickoff.
Season 3 premiere.
Season 3. Winners, winners, winners.
You're all winners for listening.
And nobody said the F word today.
Nope. I said friggin'. I was close.
I said frick. So frickin' frack.
Yeah. But don't forget to check out all our social media. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr,
iTunes,
Stitcher, iTunes, iHeartRadio,
Google Play. I'm out of breath.
Our website, mikeandchrisreloaded.libsyn.com.
That's right. And make sure to give us some reviews. You can review us on our website, review us on iTunes, review us on Stitcher, wherever. Leave us some feedback. We love you. We like hearing from you. If you hate us,
or let us know what your favorite Spider-Man villain was of all time.
Yeah, and we got our phone interview possibilities opened up. So anybody in distant land that has a good podcast idea, let us know, because maybe in the future we can get you on a phone interview on our show, because we're looking for ideas always.
Yep, always looking for ideas.
So that's all I got.
That's all I got.
Peace.
Out.